Hello YouTube, how you doing? Did Santa bring you everything that you wanted? What are we going to do today? Right, I did say in the previous video I was going to go through the other pain in the backside thing with Lightroom, and that is its demosaicing algorithm, and I have done so many videos on this in the past, it's unreal. Do Adobe ever take any notice of me? Do they? No, they don't. I was going to use a rude word then, but anyway, there you go. Right, first things first, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If it gives you any useful information or help with your image processing, yep, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a nice comment below, and always bear in mind, if you want to help support this channel and help it grow even more, if you want to go over and contemplate giving us a bit of extra support by either giving it a super thanks, or indeed go over and sign up to my Patreon channel, where you will get an absolute boatload of extra videos, articles, and gunny Sony knows what else, and plus the fact all my members ask me to do videos on specific things, including sometimes on their own images. So there you go. Every little helps, as they say. Okay, yes. Righty. So I did say that I was going to get this second video out sometime in between Christmas and New Year, and as of the time of recording, it is 13:55 in the afternoon of New Year's Eve. So here you go. I'm actually doing what I said I was going to do. I should have done it yesterday. That was my main intention, but I had to go and help one of my Patreon members, and it took a little bit longer than I was expecting. Didn't it, Les? All right then. Right, that's all that malarkey out the way. That's the introduction over with. And so let's crack on and go and have a look at why a lot of people find the demosaicing algorithm inside Lightroom a bit suspect. Right, so here we've got a nice photo of a white-tailed seagull in flight doing his acrobatics, or it wouldn't be acrobatics, would it? It'd be aerobatics. This is Miguel, yeah, Mr. Angry Mark II, and yeah, big bird, and yeah, there you go. Now, we're not going to be messing around with colour and contrast and all that malarkey. We're just concentrating on the demosaicing algorithm. And what I'm going to do, I'll put a link up in the top of the video, roughly here, and that'll take you to an older, much older video I did on demosaicing. Specifically differences between Lightroom and Raw Therapy, and so go and watch that either now and then come back to this video, or go and watch it after the video if you want a little bit more in-depth info on demosaicing, because I know there's going to be a lot of you out there who don't even know what demosaicing is and how it works. So there you go. Right, so we'll contemplate this picture of Miguel for a moment, and ostensibly, yeah, forget the colour, ostensibly it looks fine. And if you were going to print this out A4, you wouldn't need to bother with all this stuff. If you were going to put this out as a JPEG on the socials, you wouldn't need to bother with any of what I'm going to show you. You wouldn't need to bother with it because all the time you're making the image smaller. But if you want to utilize this image at its full size, or even print it super big, in which case you've got to enlarge it, for want of a better description, this will be quite critical for you, because errors in the image, especially when you have them printed really big, bigger than native in air quotes, any imperfections in the image are going to show up massively, yeah? So, and when you're trying to do masking work on the image itself, if you've got edge problems caused by demosaicing errors, they cause problems in your mask. Yeah. So, you think that this looks fine. Does it? You'll notice, I don't know whether you can see it or not, at this 100% scale view with YouTube video compression, but you just notice the front of the beak, the curve of the beak there. There's something weird going on because it looks as if there's a white line around it, and we've got a white line down here, we've got one or two over here, and they're all caused by the other thing that I tell you Lightroom is rubbish at, and that is sharpening. Okay, so first of all, let's take this all the way up to a 1600% view. And now a lot of you are going to go, Andy, for crying out loud, you pixel peeping man. Yes, too bloody right I am. Or if you contemplate the fact that a 50-inch or a 60-inch print is going to cost you in the hundreds of pounds, yeah, and pixel peeping could save you a fortune and costs you nothing. All right, just bear that in mind. We're always on the chase for perfection. Right, so let's go in and have a look at it at 1600%. And let's just come over here and you can see the problems. I tell you what, we'll drop it down to 800%. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, because I did say Lightroom sharpening was crap. Okay. So what we're going to do is turn the sharpening off. But when I turn the sharpening off by moving the sharpening slider to the left all the way, what I want you to do is to keep your eye on these white edges. Okay. And there we go. Now, be honest. Have those white edges actually gone, or have they just been turned down? Answer is no, they've not gone. They've just been turned down. Let's come back in at 1600%. Okay. And there is part of the white edge. All right. Let's come a bit further round. It starts to show a little bit there. Then there's some weirdness going on here, where things start to bleed. And don't forget, we've got all the capture sharpening turned off. Right. Now, let's just work our way over the top here and have a look along the top edge of the bird's head. And the edge is getting a bit spread out there. Well, let's come and have a look over here. Look at the remnants of the white edge along here. And You know, you might say, well, Andy, it could be on the bird. Yeah, it could be. Is it? Let's go and have a look. Because the places it shows up are hard edges and curved edges. Right? Now then, this is Lightroom. Let's flip over to Darktable. Yeah, there is the raw file opened in Darktable with no adjustments put on it at all, apart from a little bit of colour calibration. Okay, now then, you tell me, where is any white edge in Darktable? No sharpening, because Darktable's not very good at sharpening either, despite what all you Darktable fanboys say. It isn't, it's rubbish. Okay, let's now try and scoot this across and have a look at Lightroom again. Come on. There we go. Let's leave that part there and then go and turn on Darktable again so you can see them side by side. Look at all this white edge here, which is totally missing from the Darktable view. Look at these groups of 4 and 5 pixels. It makes the bottom edge of this curve look very blocky. Look how nice and smooth that curve is, that same curve of the beak. Look how nice and smooth it is in Darktable. Okay. This is the problem with Lightroom's demosaicing algorithm. Let's minimise Darktable and let's come and have a look at this picture of a white-tailed seagull. Now, I hope you noticed that the previous image we looked at was a CR2 file, yeah? So it was off a 1DX Mark II. This one is off a D5 Nikon. Alright, and let's go and go settings, reset, and right, so it's not made any difference, right? But if we come into this image at 100%, it looks as sharp as a sharp thing. But here we've got a very, very, very smooth edge. If we come in and look at this very, very smooth edge, yeah, like that, you can see we've got this massive halo around it. But let's take the sharpening off. That halo is still there. If you think you can't see it, go and, because I'll give you the raw file for this, go and download these two white-tailed seagull images and check it all out for yourself, just so as you know there's no trickery going on here. Just look at that halo. Now here's the thing, on this shot, if I right click on this, and if you remember, I keep saying that people who have Lightroom should have DxO PR4, Pure Raw 4. Yeah. I'm going to go to Export, and I'm going to go Process Instantly with DxO Pure Raw 4. But the thing is, I'm not going to do any noise reduction with DxO Pure Raw 4. No noise reduction at all. Just so you can see, Edit, Advanced, Luminance Noise Reduction, 0. Force Details, 0. Lens Softness Compensation, off. Vignetting, off. Chromatic Aberration Correction, yeah, we'll leave that on. lens distortion off. Click apply, export to application none. That means it'll just come straight back into Lightroom. So we will go process, and we will go right, overwrite, and because I've obviously done it before. So let's just wait just a second, and there we go, job sorted. So let's come in, and yes, we can still see we've got a vestige of a white halo, but some of that is being exacerbated by the sharpening. So let's go and turn the sharpening off. Okay, right, so let's come back to our raw file. No sharpening. Let's come back to the DxO, demosaic, but not noise reduced. So all DxO has done is demosaicked it and then thrown it back into Lightroom. Look, no edge. No edge at all. Flip back. I tell you what we'll do. We'll go view and we'll go lock zoom position, and then we will come back to the raw file, and there you go. There's the fault in the demosaicing algorithm. White edge, spread edge, it's bleeding, and now it isn't bleeding, it's constrained a bit, it's contracted a bit, and no white edge. It's crackers. Now then, let's go and take this raw file, let's just go and open it up in Art. And there we go, it looks fine. Let's take it up to 100%, and it looks brilliant. Does it or does it not? Super sharp because, wait for it, where is it? Detail. I've got the capture sharpening turned on. Yep. But here's the kicker. Let's take it up to 1600%. Oh dear God, there we go. And let's try and move this down. Ooh, this is going to be difficult. Look at that. No white halo. Whoops-a-daisy. I mean, it is crackers. No white halo. Now, you tell me why we've got no white halo on this image. We've got capture sharpening on this image. It's as sharp as it was in Lightroom with Lightroom sharpening on, but Lightroom sharpening just exacerbates the halos that Lightroom's demosaicing algorithm put on it. It's just crackers. Mental. I can't understand why they allow this to go on. So, why does it look so much better, and why have we got this white edge in Lightroom? Some crazy inbuilt pre-sharpening within the demosaicing algorithm itself, and I do wish they would take it out, because why on earth should we have to pay all the money that we have to pay? And don't forget, we those of us who were on the cheap under £10 a month plan, the original 20 gig plan, we've all now got to shell out £120 a year. Art, you don't have to shell anything out a year. Freaky. To me, art, which works in exactly the same way as raw therapy, its demosaicing is pretty much between them. There is no difference. Not really, as far as I'm aware. It's the same demosaicing algorithms put together in exactly the same way. It costs you nothing, they're for free. And the demosaic algorithms inside of Art, Raw Therapy and Darktable, which again is free, can be mixed and matched, and they can be changed. In Lightroom, you've got one demosaic algorithm and you're bloody stuck with it, and you've got no control over it whatsoever. So there you go, guys. If you look closely at your images, you will find you have pre-sharpening halos. You still find these halos on your image in Lightroom when you've got all the sharpening turned off. It usually happens when you've got edges that are very contrasting in colour and also very contrasting in the amount of detail frequency that you've got one side of the edge to the other. So where you've got high frequency detail against super low frequency detail, it'll show up there. When you've got basically red, yellow, orange against blue, that's a colour contrast differential. You're going to see it there as well. And yet you don't see it in the FOSS editors. This is what gets me really so goddamned annoyed with Adobe, because they won't give you the facility to change, and they really should do, seeing as they're charging top dollar. Don't get me wrong, I love Lightroom. I love Photoshop. Like, as you get the two together, they work great, and Lightroom is such a fabulous bit of software because it helps me to do all my digital asset management, helps me to do all my metadata and my IPTC data, and it makes a great print module for soft proofing and basically for sending an image to a printer. That used to be the purview of Photoshop. I haven't made a print out of Photoshop for about 12 years now. So I'll just do it all out of Lightroom. But Lightroom's key asset for a lot of people who use it is as a raw image processor. And yeah, it's good, but it's a bit of a jack of all trades. And it has one or two very long-standing problems. And I wish to Christ on a bike that they would actually go and sort these problems out before they give you anything else new. And it just freaks me out. But this is all this subject that I'm talked about in this video is it just simply applies to those people who want super precision out of their images. Yeah, super precision. If you are not chasing super high precision out of your images, all this lot doesn't matter. It doesn't. Yeah, but for those of us who want or need pixel perfection in every maneuver that we do to get an image from capture to print and screen, then you do have to be aware of these things, and you've got to understand that there are other tools that you can add to your toolbox, Raw Therapy, Darktable, Art, which do not suffer with Lightroom's crappy, goddamned awful, ancient demosaic algorithm. And I do mean ancient. It hasn't changed in a donkey's age. It really has not, and it's about time it did, or they kept it as it was, but they gave us some extra tools to control it or change it. Yeah, I'd be quite happy to pay a little bit extra for Lightroom if we could control or warp in some way the demosaicing algorithm that's brought to bear on the images, like you can inside Darktable, to a point Darktable. Darktable is a little bit limited in a lot of respects. Not as expansive in the levels of adjustment of demosaicing that you get inside of raw therapy and art. If anybody wants me to do more on this demosaicing thing, more specifically in art and raw therapy, first of all, just remember that art and raw therapy are very much the same. So I'll put that link to an earlier video that I put up at the top of the screen much earlier on in this video. I'll put that link in the description panel below as well. So go and watch that. But if you go and watch that after this, and you still want me to do something else on demosaicing, specifically in art, raw therapy, and cover it in Darktable, I will do. All you've got to do is ask. Okay, guys, so there you go. Not really an informative video in how to get round problems unless you use a little bit of logical thought. If you've got a problem in Lightroom, go and do it somewhere else and then bring it back into Lightroom as a 16-bit TIFF and then continue to work on it. If you want to use the other tools like the masking tools or whatever inside of Lightroom, which are all very good, and it's something I do all the time. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Hope you found it useful and instructive and informative. As I said before, if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, leave a nice comment below, and yeah, as always, if you really want to get more stuff like this, go and have a look at my Patreon channel. All that remains for me to do now is to wish you all a very happy new year. I'll see you again in 2025, because let's face it, that's less than what? It's now 14:21, so it's less than 8 hours away. Yeah, that's it from me. Stay safe, stay well, keep taking the pictures, and I'll speak to you soon in 2025. See ya!